And we're back at Factorio again. So we have got our assembly areas, our high-level assembly areas, starting to move up here, and we have TSM trains. I may occasionally say LTN when I mean TSM, because those are the two train mods that I have used in the past, and this is TSM. LTN is, I think, the more complicated of the two and possibly the more effective, but I suspect it's also maybe not as UPS efficient. Not sure. Anyway, it has a lot of extra complexity. So TSM is sufficient for our needs, so that's what I'm using here. It does mean that given trains are associated with named depots of a certain name, and when they're called out of those depots by whoever, they go to whatever other depot is on their schedule. So I think the biggest difference between them is that for TSM, you generally don't have one train moving several different cargoes. At LTN, your trains are categorized by their number of locomotives and cars, and you send a train that looks right to do whatever needs to be done. Anyway, so I'm going to do one last piece of housekeeping here, which is to set up the labels on the stuff that I moved, which I missed doing. So this guy moved up here. Like that. Now these labels I'm putting in, if they help me to identify what's going on if I turn off the names of the stations. And we're going to have a lot of stations because we've got all of these depot stations. So turning that off actually helps clear out things. And if I want to see what goes in, I can zoom in like that and then turn it on and I can see what we're looking for. I really could just put the word empty and the word ready on these labels. Yeah. There we go. Rather than try to come up with understandable short abbreviations for everything that I am keeping empty all over the place. So one oddity is that while processing units are streaming downward here, they're actually being used in some of these guys. Let's see if I look up here. Yeah, here for instance, RCUs use these chips. So in reality, the blue chips really ought to go in a layer above this. Now would be the time to move it. Yep. So I need to move the blue chip stuff from here up to here, so it'll be blue chips and red chips and green chips streaming across the top. So my factor is going to go vertical. Even though I've laid out all this horizontal space, we're going to end up going vertical. Okay. Because I want each layer to only depend on things that are literally above it. So I can have the trains going up and down. So I need to move this whole thing up there. And we are going to go full creative on this so that I can pick things up and put them down, move things around without running out of inventory and shoving things in boxes and running back to the builder base and so on. So first step is to clear out the, well, actually I can copy this area. Actually, I need to do that on foot. Need to copy and this area, place it down over there, and then come back and delete it. The moment I place things down, it is going to change the names of all the requester stations. So, bearing that in mind, I will have to go back and repair that. I think the only station I need to worry about is the producer station here, and having it called Blue Chip 01 is not such a bad thing. So we need a blueprint. I'm just going to repurpose this one, and we're going to start here at this power pole, and we're going to take these 2 acres, areas, whatever we want to call them. It's not a city block because I don't like have paving and all of that. Yes, this was informed by many things I've learned over the years, including Nilaus' city block concept. So we are not snapping trains or train fuel. We don't want to duplicate all the trains suddenly. But we do want the train stop names to be the same. Okay, now we go all the way up to where we want to put it. And I'm going to clear the area out aggressively. Not all the way through the power cables, but inside them, which means the rails and the signals and the lamps are all going to go, as will things moving the corner. This could have an impact on traffic, but we shouldn't have any traffic up in this corner of the base quite yet. We want to include the lamps and the signals. There we go. And we start here. It looks like I have some duplicated power lines heading vertically here. So this particular set of cells may have been placed badly. Well, this will fix that. So I am not including the power on the left, right, top, and bottom. I'm including the power in the middle. So 5. Yes, that's correct. And that should clear it out. We have gone full creative at this point. And we align this where it needs to be. And if I just click, I shouldn't even need to shift click. There we go. And we are laid down. Now, if there are things here that cannot be plopped properly, they won't plop. For example, this is a requester station, and it was not put down. What was put down was just this, so I will need to correct this by hand. Oh boy. Let's Control Z that. So the requester doesn't get plopped properly at all. What if I remove it from here? So remove the train counter and the requester stop from here. And now we try again. The thing is, when we build manually, we drop the requester station and it gets the train counter automatically. And apparently we had some trains that already went there, but replopping solved that. Zoom back in. So this should be everything correct except our requester station is missing. Okay. So let's plop that and hook it up. The hookup is simple. Boom, boom, boom. And it did not copy the priority schema here. That's good because I'm going to change the name of this station, and I have seen problems happen with that. When I have seen problems happen when you change the name of a requester station, and it's already been working on it. So we're going to do that, and we're going to call this 01 because every requester has to have a unique name. And he is going to be blue. He's requesting empty stuff, so he is blue and cargo wagon. There we go. And he's currently not requesting because he doesn't have any to give away. Shock grasp. These should be our empty. And there we go. So now we go over to the other side and we induce our various trains to make their way to the new location. And there's a really easy way to do that. You delete the station they're at, and you tell them to go to the station that they were at, and they will go to the proper place on the other side of the world. And we should also see that this has 2 stations. That's correct. So if we delete that, he just pops right out there. And it should be the same thing here. So this station, again, is going to be our exception because we don't have a station providing sulfuric acid. Notice we have already set this up to not have fuel, so the other one should also not have fuel. And now we want trains down here to head out to their proper holding pattern. And I am worried that TSM may become a little confused as I change the trains around. So once we get this moved, I'm going to sit and watch it for a moment. Make sure our trains are moving, make sure nobody has unknown stations that nobody knows about in their listings. And I will delete this station when it's not referenced anymore by any of these guys. But I think one of the things we can do here is we can just say we always output p equals 1. So we will say dot equals 0. Dot not equals 0, greater than 0. So we're no longer requesting, so he's gone away. So these trains still have him in their schedule, but they will be scheduled with the proper destination when they actually go to pick up stuff. And I will come back and delete all of the station stuff there later. I still haven't used any of my logistic infrastructure here. My intent was to use this to either report state of various things or to provide control or some combination of both. So this guy's waiting for somebody to have materials available. And I can trim those off. In fact, I think I can do that to all of my trains. Just need to trim that. So when we wait long enough, this station here should eventually trigger off. We are asking for 1,000 in each cargo wagon. It does take a bit for it to produce that. So let's crank this thing up. Now, I'm pretty sure that the way this is organized, TSM will work its way through all 6 trains in order. So as we have it available here, we'll take the next one over here, and it should round robin. And then as people need them, they will take from here, and I believe it also round robins there. Let's make sure that all of our trains are limited. Blue chips was something where I could have done this with 1 car instead of 4. This could have been a 1-1 train. I'm sitting here trying to remember my exact line of reasoning. I know that part of it was that by having the same size trains as everybody else, it kept things standard, and I didn't have to work with multiple special cases. The other part of it is that with these trains being able to carry so much, it means that we could, in theory, reduce our load even further by sending around full trains, and they would just, do the right thing. And they would be very rare, so less traffic. Less traffic is always a good thing. So who uses these? These are used in yellow science. Up here they are used in RCUs. I can delete this now. Let's go make sure that the RCU factory is set up properly. This is really just a cross-check. I believe I made these checks earlier. I will just, double check it on the way through. So he is set up with unconstrained boxes, and when we have less than 4,000, we'll summon another one. Well, 4,000 is 1, 2, 3, 4. I really want to dump an entire train, and an entire train is one line. And if I ended up with all of them in one box, we would end up with the train stalling here. So I'm going to wait until I have less than 2,000. Now that would be 500 per box if they're evenly split, so we would have half a line and we get a full line. And worst case, we end up with 2 rows here, and a train comes in and gets us the 3rd row. So this is good. So the good thing I checked. So that's the condition we want to use for blue, which is we have less than 2,000, go get a train. And now we can head over here to delete this guy. Everything in there. Boom. Similarly, this depot station goes away. Notice that the depot stations only inject traffic at the very top and very bottom. Let's clear these out. There we go. Now I can't move the tag. I wish I could. There's probably a way to do it, which I don't know. Okay. I don't object to having the 0-1 on these at all. I could add it there. It's still, if I add it and it's the only stop with that name, it should change it in all the train schedules. There we go. Just out of curiosity, when these were automatically named, it did not put a blank in. That's correct. So labels, add tag, ready, blue chip, confirm. tag empty. And processing units. So that keeps me well labeled. Okay, so a big decision to move things up here, and a short episode just to move the processing units up. I suppose I could lay out depots for the red and green stuff. Would not be a bad idea. Of course, now the question is, how many trains do we have for those guys? And more importantly, how many trains per minute are we moving through? And will this be okay? Factory planner. This. Wagons per minute. Red. Okay, so red is moving under a wagon a minute. And it is a lot of assembling machines. I'm going to have to actually lay out the advanced circuit factory. I'm going to go ahead and put his green circuits on site. And I know this means more trains coming into this factory than I would have otherwise, but it means lower load on the green chip factory itself, and it means that we're spreading the consumers of plastic, plastic around. So this is items per minute, 7555 items per minute, so plus advanced circuits. Give it an icon. 7555, double check. So this guy, go to traditional, electronic circuits and copper wires. Actually, we can leave this on matrix. I do like the matrix solver here. So this tells us that we have 6 belts of copper to do this. So much like I did the blue chips, this looks like I'm going to be doing 6 blocks, probably in a block on the left and a block on the right. So 1/6 of 100. This would mean each block is 16 high. No, that can't be right. Holy for holy, this is going to be huge. This factory may be too large to go in one of these cells. We may have to split it. I suppose I could do a little planning here. So what this is telling me is that we have red, which requires green, which requires copper. Red also requires copper, so we're going to take green and put his copper in there and put it to traditional. So this is about 1 to 1. And this requires 12 copper machines just to feed the advanced circuits. So it looks like this is going to be broken up into 12 blocks minimum, maybe further. And inside each one of those 12 blocks, there's going to be 1 green machine. And I'm thinking we're going to go ahead and put 2 copper machines in and have 1 copper feeding the green guy, and the other copper available to green, but mainly available to the other ones. So this is going to be an interesting little design. So pop that out. So let's divide this by 12. So 7555 divided by 12. And I have to X out of this before I can bring up the calculator. 7555 divided by 12. So call it 630. So we need 12 instances of this. 8.1. I'm thinking 12 is hairy edge, and we're going to want to round up from 12. What if we do 15? What if we do 16? Let's do 16. Okay, let's divide it by 16 and round things up. So, 7555 divided by 16 is 472. Call it. Let's aim at 475 by 16. And no doubt that will get rounded up like crazy. So 16 instances of this. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be profligate at everything, and I'm going to put in 8 machines, 1 and 2. So copper, green, copper, and 8 reds. And I'm just going to do one of those up here just to start figuring out where we are. Machines. And productivity modules do not go. Oh. That was a mistake. Can I put productivity modules in any of this? Yes, I can. Okay, now... Oh, why do I have so many flying robot frames? Let's get rid of all of them. And blue chips, let's get rid of all of them. So that's going to feed that. This is going to feed that, and it's also going to feed those. Then I need green chips also to feed all of those. Maybe like that? Possibly. So now I want to set up my beacons. And if we look at max rate, our rates are going to be much higher than we need. But you notice this is a balance, so this may be the correct factory. Let's take a look at this in terms of express transport belts. we have more than a full belt of copper. So we want one of these coppers just feeding into the green guy and the other one available but not there. Well, let's see. I think I know how to do that. That would be one of these. And one of those. Now what I'd like to do is have copper and green on here. So if I do, let's see, if I do this and this, and I believe, oh, almost did the wrong one there. So let's look at the rates here. We need a lot more copper in than we need plate going out, but we're going to get most of it from this guy, almost all of it. So what we really want is this machine's copper to go on the far side. And the easy way of doing that is not to do that, it's to do this. So for here, in terms of stack inserters, so one stack inserter can handle that. Full machine packs in here, and that will force as much as possible. This will take whatever is left, and most of the rest of this will go over. And yeah, that should be okay. So this line will now have copper and green chips. Copper, we require 0.1 inserters, and green chips requires 0.06. So that's all we need for there. Now on the bottom, we're going to require plastic and our output. So in terms of express transport belts, we have less than half a belt of plastic in and less than half a belt of red out. So this is good. And I believe my power is going to be down on this area, so let's work out the power compromise right now. So if we do 3 power, it's that big. 2 power does not cover the entire array. Now, I believe I can still hit my rates if I do not include the final guy there. Because we need actually 2 machines of copper for this. For the rate we're looking at here, we do not. We are going to be throttling it though. Okay. So if I was actually planning on doing 616 outputs, hold on. There. If I was planning on doing 616 outputs, I would be a little bit short already. It only requires 6.1. If I were planning on doing 539, see, 539, we still require 1.7 of these. a little bit shorter. That will still give us 521. Let's prototype this up, and I'm going to benchmark it really quick and see if... Okay, so I do need plastic input on the top of this belt. Oh, and I need copper input on this guy. Oh, yeah, let's not forget that. How much copper do these guys need? Total we need in express transport belts, we need half a belt of copper coming in. Total of 0.7 stack inserters. Okay, so that's copper. And that's plastic. And that works. Or at least it should work. Where'd my power go? I need to get some captive power here. So passive energy source. Just drop this down here. So we've got plastic and copper. And this guy needs iron. Fuck me. I want to tile vertically, so I can't just sneak it in from the side. I have to bring it in. So this needs almost a full build of copper already. I can't share it there. I could share it here. So this becomes a shared build of iron and plastic. Plastic is, yeah, okay, so this is iron and plastic. Let's start dropping these down and see if it works. Oh, there we go. Up, down, down, up. Yeah, iron and plastic, but we need to not have the... Oh, this is going to be joyful. We're going to have to work out the power separately. If I put it there, that gives you some room to work. Well, we need to put it, you know, like up here. Thank goodness for undo. If we put two of them up here, that puts our power in the wrong place. So 3 of them on the top lane? Maybe here? Here, yeah. There's our power. So, We need to do a kind of a swizzle here to get iron into here and still get plastic into these guys. So if this guy only allows plastic through on the right, like that, so the plastic has to be on the inside lane, which means this has to be plastic. Right here. Let's set that up just to give us one lane of plastic. And this has to be iron. And this needs to be 2 lanes of copper. 1 lane of copper is not enough for those guys. Okay. This gets replicated across. And this gets, only the red guy goes right. And we want to ditch the output. And what I'm seeing is that this copper is not getting very far. These 4 machines require half a belt of copper already. So yeah, there is that. My total requirement for this is higher than I thought. I need a full belt of copper, a half belt of green, a half belt of yellow, and output. So this is all wrong. So how am I going to get a full belt of copper coils? Let's start off like that. I still need to do this. Because this guy alone needs over a belt. Oh, wow. This is just, wow. This is a huge amount of copper coils coming through here. Yeah, I keep forgetting the scale of a mega base. Does this output actually fit on 2 stack? Oh, I've had this on filter stack inserters 0.3. Go back to looking at this. Belts. Shit. Okay, this is over half a belt, so I don't need to rewind. We still need 0.552 belts going out that way, but it's not that bad. There. If I do that, that. Okay, so whatever he outputs, all that we can is going to go on the lower of it, and some will go on the upper. This guy will place on upper, and we'll loop that around there. And this guy, okay. And these guys are going to require copper input. Let's check our rates just on that much. Copper, copper. Okay. This guy is going to require iron, and further down is going to require plastic. So iron and plastic are going to go down, and we need to do some belt weaving so we can pick up outputs. So on this belt we need green chips and plastic, and we need to have iron coming in. Red undergrounds. You have no idea how much I hate doing stuff like this. So the iron has to stop, which means either using splitter merger or inserter tricks of some sort or something. This will work to stop the iron. We are inserting on the far side, so this needs to not have something on it. This needs to have plastic on it. And here is our output. And here is where we put this guy. So in terms of belts, the only thing here with a quantity higher than one belt is copper, and we do have 2 different belts moving him. Half of it goes directly here, the other half gets prioritized low, leaving space for him to put on the top as necessary. I think everybody's busy. In theory, we should hold on. I think that's balanced. That's pretty well balanced. Our red machines should occasionally stall, waiting for input of some kind. Well, the green machines are going to stall, waiting for copper. Actually, if I do that, we have more copper than we need for everything else. We have more green than we need, so this is going to run our red machines at peak. So occasionally these machines will back up. I don't mind having 2 inserters there. We don't need them, but overkill is good. I don't like the belt weaving, but we're not going to be using upgrade planners, so that's fine, I guess. I said I needed 16 of those suckers. Oh my god. How wide is that? Six, seven, 8. Does it fit? Oh my giddy aunt. Look at that. That array fits. Now that is a green science array. Scroll out here to see the whole thing. This is, in theory, capable of chewing up 8 belts of copper, more than 4 belts of, well, 4 belts of iron plate, more than 4 belts of plastic. So we need an 8 station, maybe more than one 8 station. Holy Toledo. Wagons per minute. Yeah, an 8 station will do it. But we need to get more than 8 belts. Well, we get 8 belts out. As long as I am offloading into 2 boxes from each car. I think that's the way it works. It'd be nice if I had radar coverage, wouldn't it? Of course, that's an 8 station to run that at rated speed. Let's take a look at this. Okay, so we offload 2 blue belts wide out of each car. So an 8 train feeds 8 belts with enough margin that we only have half our time spent. Oh, let's put these back to manual so they stop whining. The other thing is this needs to go up next to the processing units. Let's transplant that, and I'm just going to center that in the space. I really did not expect this build to fit inside a single grid square. Okay, so there's our horizontal top, horizontal center, and the easy way to center this is just kind of to look at the coverage of the beacons, and that fits us right between those two rails. So, according to the factory planner, let's look at the original one. I need a total of 7,555 items per minute. According to Max Rate Calculator, this is capable of producing 8,344. So our rated throughput is higher than our margin. We could reduce the number of these, but then how do we prioritize? Do we make a big honking manifold? Do we just, or what? In terms of express belts, this is telling me that we're actually only using up half a belt of copper on input here per line. Did I get this right? Yes, we have 16 lines. So I could make this line be combination copper iron and split the iron away and not have to do that whole crap. Let's do that. So we're going to clip from here all the way out. We're going to go back to game speed 1. And we're going to stop going full speed on the CPU. So this is going to be copper iron at the top. I think we still need this to sneak the iron in here and yet still get the plastic down here where we are outputting. So we're not getting away with everything. That is going to limit something to half a red belt, though. So first of all, if we go to fast transport belts, what is it? What is over a half? Well, the copper plate, which is being delivered by Blue Belt, and the output is on. Okay, so this should still be able to sustain. What is our red chip output rate over the last hour? We have been running red chips, so I don't know what my rate is from this factory, honestly. There's two of them. 4, 8, and there's our 16, which just fits. Well, this was sustaining 1.6K here. And we cranked up to 9.9, that'd be 8.3K. I think this is, yeah, this is going to be good. So I'm going to call that an episode. This is going to be planning so moving blue and planning red. Let's send that off.